Welcome into Winning Cures Everything. Good gracious. Sportsbookreview.com. God. We started off with a bang today, didn't we? This is the College Football Show. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And you can help us out a whole lot, right? This is week 5. We need you to like the video. Go ahead and do that. Make it easy on yourself because I need you to also subscribe. I need you to do all of these different things. So go ahead and knock that out. Subscribe to the channel. We have got a ton of new subscribers just over the last couple of weeks. And we appreciate you guys for that. Of course, we have got a lot of guys jumping into the chat already. The Brown Yeti, Parlay King, Ayo Quell Nation. That's what I'm talking about. If you would like to be a part of the show, you can jump into the chat as well. Leave your comments. Let us know what your picks are for the week. And yeah, do yourself an even bigger favor. Go to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. We have got the best team in all of the college football universe over there giving you different tips and discussing the game breakdowns, right? Very simple stuff. So let's go ahead and fire into today's show. Chris, you ready to rock and roll?
Come on.
All right. Week 4 recap. Not our best week. That's okay. Not a big deal, but we'll go ahead and let you know how we did. I went 3-2-1 last week. And honestly, my closing line stuff, if you had bet my stuff on Saturday, you wouldn't have gotten the best line. There were a lot of them that were just right against that number. So if you had bet me, earlier in the week on some of these, you would have lost. Later in the week, you would have lost. Some of them you would have won, whatever. I went 3-2-1. I'm 14-11-1 overall.
That's not bad. That's
not
good.
Bad.
That's in the positive.
It is. Chris went 1-3 last week.
That's not what you want.
That's in the negative.
That's in the negative.
So he is 7. I gotta fix my writing. I got chicken scratch for writing. 7-13 overall.
I like the 17.
Yeah.
Better.
What did you say before we went live?
So I'm picking a lot of games this week, which I normally don't do. But when you dig yourself a big hole, you gotta use a big shovel.
Yeah, need a big shovel to get back out of it. That's okay. So last week was okay. A lot of games went right up against that number. Pitt at different times. One part of the week they were -2.5. One part of the week they were -3.5. They landed on 3. They won by 3. South Carolina loses by 4. Earlier in the week, you could have gotten them at 3. You could have gotten them at 4.5 to 5 on game day. I mean, it was just ridiculous, right? Just across the board, absolute insanity. Oklahoma losing as a massive home favorite. 28.5, I think, is what it closed at. I mean, it was just insane. So let's jump into the chat right quick. Tom Lowe said, give me 5 college parlay picks that I should go with this week. Hey, that's coming at the end of the show. This isn't a long show. We're going to get through everything. But the parlays are down at the bottom. You can see it over there on the side of the screen. We're going to get there. Don't worry. Parlay King, Fax is 6. Let's see. 6-figure Matt said, give me Campbell plus 34.5. Hey, I have made money with Campbell 3 times this year already. So I'm in with it. And Parlay King said Virginia plus 28. I like that. I'm weird about the Clemson thing. All right, let's get into these big games, right? Big games for the weekend. We'll start off TCU at Texas. Now, this is a 12 p.m. Eastern time game. It is the Fox Big Noon kickoff game. And I got some stats for you. All right. Now, we both love Gary Patterson. We're big fans. We don't know quite what to make of Tom Herman yet. They didn't look great last week by any stretch of the imagination. TCU last week scored 27 points in the second half against Iowa State.
That's right.
Now, had Max Duggan been playing the entire time, I think they probably would have won that ball game.
I think so, too.
TCU 5-1 against the spread their last 6 against Texas. They are 7-1 against the spread their last 8 as a 10-point-plus underdog. TCU is 3-1 against the spread and straight up in their last 4 against Texas. This is a game that Gary Patterson likes to win. He really puts an emphasis on this game every year for whatever reason. You got thoughts on this?
What's the biggest in-state rival that they've got? It's it's for the state of Texas in recruiting. This game matters, and I love Gary Patterson. I love plus 13. I just think that's too many points. Texas has the ability to beat everybody in the Big 12.
Yes.
I don't know that Texas has the ability to beat everybody in the Big 12 badly.
Yes, that defense is going to take some time. The special teams is a problem.
Yes.
That is.
Well, and defense is a problem.
Yeah, the defense is a problem.
They're going to give up a lot of points, which means the other team can always stay in it.
Yeah. And Max Duggan looked good last week.
Yes. I'll completely agree. He's the guy, right?
Yes, he is the guy.
No doubt.
He's 100% the guy.
I
mean, they took the other guy at halftime for this. Like, they thought maybe he wouldn't be ready. I mean, he had the heart issue. They were holding him out. He hadn't practiced.
We're good.
But I love TCU plus 13. I'll go ahead and tell that is one of my official picks.
Yep.
That one of yours?
One of mine.
So, by the way, the prediction tracker analytics have it Texas minus 14. But they do this every year. Every year, the analytics always think Texas.
Well, I want to know what the analytics were last week against Texas Tech. When they were laying 20 something, and they almost got.
No. They laid what 18.5.
It was almost 20. Yeah, it was a big number.
I'll tell you, it was Texas minus 14. So
smaller than I thought.
Small, yeah. It was. I mean, they
didn't cover that.
No, they didn't cover 14. But they did. Texas Tech covered the 18. It worked out okay. You ready to move on?
Yep.
Let's keep talking about some Texas teams. Texas A&M at Alabama. This is the 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time game on CBS. It is the SEC game of the week, which is kind of strange because we still have Georgia Auburn to talk about. But the way that this works, and there's a lot of people that jumped in the chat and whatnot that wanted to know why this was the SEC game of the week. And the truth is ESPN's contract actually sets it up to where they get to pick their favorite games, I think twice a year, 2 or 3 times a year. It's why Florida LSU last year, a top 5 matchup, was on ESPN as opposed to CBS. So that's the way that works. ESPN took Auburn, Georgia this year. Can't say I blame them. Battle of top 10 teams. Both teams, Texas A&M and Alabama, 4-4 against the spread each in their last 8 meetings. Whitey Panda jumped in and said, I know Chris is going to have Auburn straight up in the Georgia game. We'll get to that. Don't worry. Gerald Martinez said Alabama first half. I do think that is likely the way to go if you're going to bet Alabama this year, because once they get up, they're pulling everybody. That's what happened against Missouri. Darren McCardle jumps in, said Alabama minus 16.5. Look, this is the lowest home spread for an Alabama game since they were 7.5-point favorites in a 30-16 win over LSU on November 4th, 2015. That is insane. Absolutely insane. That was the Leonard Fournette against Derrick Henry game. Alabama 5-0 straight up in the last 5 against Texas A&M. Their average margin of victory in those games is 17.2. And here we are with a 16.5 or 17-point spread. The analytics have it Alabama minus 17.5. Thoughts?
I don't know that we can judge anything by the way both of these teams played week 1.
I think the Texas A&M played as vanilla as you can possibly play.
I think they just tried to go out there and treat that like a scrimmage.
Yeah, 17-12 over Vanderbilt looks bad,
yes.
Right? But it really wasn't that bad. Yeah. Like it was a more comfortable win than you would think.
They were never in danger of actually losing the game. Vanderbilt never had the ball with threat to take the lead in a meaningful point in the game.
In the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left, they were down at they were in Texas A&M territory, but they were the success rate. If you look at the advanced stats on it, the success rate for A&M only ran 55 plays.
That's right.
Why Jimbo prefers to run such a slow-paced offense, I have no idea. Because if you have better athletes than the other team, you want more opportunities with the ball.
So I think he's looking at this week, though. That's
maybe you're right.
Because the best way to slow down this Alabama offense and those big-time receivers and Naheed Hine and all those guys is to keep them on the sidelines.
Yes.
I think he was practicing last week what they're going to do this week. Will it work? I don't know the answer to that. But I'm going to tell you this. They're not going to go fast against Bama. Because if they go fast, then their defense is going to get just destroyed at the second half of the game.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. Tom Lowe jumps in and said Alabama 16.5. Would you take it or no? I would stay away from it.
I'm not touching this game.
Yeah, I don't like this one. I think
if you
that
make
Alabama
me make a pick, I would take A&M.
Yeah, I would probably do that, but that would be me banking on a backdoor cover.
Oh, yeah. That's what you're banking on, though.
Yeah.
That's 100% what you're banking on.
Riot M says, I don't think they'll pull players this game because it's ranked. You still got a lot of games coming up. Remember, Alabama's got Georgia in 2 weeks.
Everybody's looking at this in a different world, in the world of COVID. If you have meaningful starters go down, you need to make sure other players have playing time. Backdoor covers are going to be the story of this year's college football.
Yes, indeed. Parlay King 513 said, tease Alabama down to 10. That might not be a bad idea if you want to take the Tide. Melton Barnes said Texas TCU over as well. That number is sitting at 62.5, 63. That's a lot of points. I'm not doing that.
Gary Patterson's defense is good. He's going to actually give Sam Ehlinger fits.
Yeah, he typically does.
I believe that. I think he's going to slow him down. Stop him? No. He's going to score. Slow him down.
Texas A&M Alabama. I'm not giving an official play on that one.
No, I'm not either. Yeah. I mean, it's just not a gambling pick.
No, it's absolutely not. Let's move on from there and let's talk about Memphis at SMU. This is another 3:30 p.m. Eastern time game. It is happening in Dallas. It's on ESPN2. And look, Memphis 5-0-1 against the spread. Their last 6 against SMU. They have owned the Ponies. SMU, however, 5-2-1 against the spread. Their last 8 as an underdog. All last year before that, since Sonny Dykes has gotten there, pretty good covering the spread as an underdog. However, on the other side of this, another trend, Memphis 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 as a road favorite. So here you've got Memphis minus what, 2.5? Yeah, it's 2.5 across the board right now, and that's actually where it opened. It went all the way down to Memphis minus 1 at one point Sunday night, early Monday, and then it started being bet up again. I'm not betting this one, but I think SMU might have Memphis's number this year. Now, I don't want that to happen because obviously we are from the Memphis area. But it's not because of revenge. It's not because of anything else. It's Memphis hasn't played in a month.
Yep.
SMU is what, 3-0, 4-0, maybe?
That's the kicker, is one team is in the swing of playing football, and the other team played football a month ago.
Yep.
And then they haven't been doing a lot since.
And now Memphis has to travel all the way to Dallas.
Yeah. I don't know if travel matters. I mean, they're going to take a charter plane, and it's not
not
going to affect anything. The problem is it's just you're asking a team that's been sitting on their ass for a month to go out and play a team that's played 4 straight games and won 4 straight games.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a problem. That is a problem. DB said Memphis SMU always feels tough to pick. I feel SMU this year. James O'Connor said, I think SMU wins this game. I'll be taking plus 2.5 and the money line.
Yeah, I think we all kind of see that, and we're all seeing the same things. I think the same thing. I think SMU can win this game. I think SMU, if I had to pick it, I would take SMU. I am gonna stay away from it because I love Memphis and it's hard to pick against them. But yeah, I actually think the play is SMU or stay away.
Yeah.
If you think you can trust Memphis to come out and win after watching them play football a month ago, you're just guessing. And you might guess right. I do think this. I do think Memphis has substantially more talent. I think Memphis athletes are better than SMU athletes.
I
don't think that's questionable, Gary. I
think they're fairly close. I mean, because SMU is, if you look at the recruiting rankings and whatnot, SMU is actually better. But as far as like speed and whatnot, yeah, I think I really liked Memphis more so before, they had Kenneth Gainwell drop out. And I wasn't super impressed with their running backs.
Obviously, I'd much rather have Gainwell on the team.
Darren McCardle said Memphis is the play, but I'm not touching it. Yeah. And then Rob jumped in and said SMU all the way. So this one is people are all over the place. Parlay King said, I think with my bankroll, not my heart. Hey, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Rob said, what's the over in this game? He said, is it like 80?
No.
It's 74.5.
It's up there.
I'm staying away from it.
Yeah.
Like that's too many points. If I had to play it, I would play the under.
So here's the thing. There's a world in which Memphis is going to come out flat.
Yeah. Because
they haven't played football in a month. That's the issue. If they come out flat, then you have no chance at the over. It's gone. It's not a chance. If they come out and they come out blazing, then Memphis is a live team in this thing and could easily win it.
Yeah.
And they'll bust that over.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Commander-in-Chief trophy, and that would be Navy at Air Force. Now, the analytics, of course, which are completely useless in this case because Air Force doesn't have a schedule right now. They're playing against Army and Navy. That's it. That's all they're doing. The analytics have them favored by 7.5 in this game. Navy is 2-4 against the spread, their last 6 against Air Force. They, in the last 10, by the way, they've had 3 overs and 7 unders in this. And now everybody always says, always take the under in the military academy games. Maybe not so fast, right? This one, the total on this is 48, I believe I last saw. The last 2 of the last 3 have gone over in this matchup. So, just saying, 48, kind of a low number. At 27-24 would bust that. Navy 0-3 against the spread at Air Force in their last 3. Now, Air Force will not have quarterback Donald Hammond III. That's kind of a big deal.
Yep.
He was a superstar last year. This Air Force team won 10 games last year.
Well, we think that's why this line moved.
I think that's
massive way it moved, right?
I think that's why it switched like that. Like I think, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know what happened.
We got 9 points of line movement. This thing opened at Air Force -1. It is now sitting across the board at Navy -7.
Yeah, it completely switched. I love
something happened to make it move 9 points.
I haven't found anything other than the quarterback situation.
That's it.
And that's it.
Is he worth 9 points? Jesus.
Possibly, but we haven't seen him without him. So that's the thing. DB said all Navy does is kill clock. See, here's the thing though. Navy can kind of throw the ball a little bit this year. They're not great at it. Don't get me wrong, but they are all right. Parlay King said Air Force +7. Yeah, that's where I'm leaning. I've got,
it's not just leaning. This is a gambling pick.
But this is absolutely my.
I'm not just leaning.
Like one of my official picks.
Yeah,
I'm taking Air Force +7.
I'm taking Air Force +7.
Now you get down to 6, 5, whatever. Even then, I might because I think this is pretty much a field goal game.
I think so too.
I still don't think that Navy is all that good, even though they came back against Tulane.
It's gonna be a great uniform game.
Oh, you have got that right. Hey, did we talk about this on the
talked about a little
show?
bit? Yeah, we talked about it.
The Red Tails uniform is going to be fan-friggin-tastic.
It's going to be great.
Unbelievable. All right, last big game that we're going to talk about before we move into the interesting games. We are talking Auburn at Georgia. This is the 6:30 or 7:30, whatever time it is, Eastern time, ESPN game. Massive primetime slot. You got Bo Nix going up against whoever is going to play quarterback for Georgia. Who knows?
That sounds very incredible.
I will say this. Stetson Bennett IV came in last week, 20 out of 29, over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. He moved the offense.
Against Arkansas.
Okay. This ain't Arkansas.
Okay.
I will say that.
Just making sure we know that.
Here we go. Rashawn Brown jumped in and said a lot of Air Force players opted out before Mountain West changed their mind, and the school won't let them come play. Yeah, I still feel good about this. Chad Nelson said I'm taking Air Force +7. Yeah, I'll stick with Air Force on that. But Auburn, Georgia here. Look, the analytics say the average is Georgia -5. Now, analytics haven't always been kind in this spot. I really like Georgia here, and I will tell you why. Auburn is 2-8 against the spread against Georgia in their last 10 meetings. Auburn is 0-6 against the spread at Georgia in their last 6 in Athens. The average margin of victory by Georgia in those games is Georgia by 20. They whip Auburn every time they go down to Athens. Now, everything about this game looks like you should take Auburn, right? Kind of the same feeling that I had last week where everything about that Auburn-Kentucky game said that you should take Kentucky. I think that Georgia did not look good against Arkansas, and I think a lot of it may have had to do with the fact that they were playing Auburn the next week. They were just working out the kinks, didn't really care what was going on. The defense would be able to win the game for them. No big deal. I really like Georgia. Now, you can get it 6.5. You can get it at 7. Oh, you've got almost 6.5s across the board right now. A lot of people loving Auburn right now. I like Georgia in this spot. Now, I know you're on the other side.
Yep.
Go ahead and tell me why.
So, first things first, I do not think Kirby Smart's a good coach. Kirby Smart is a hell of a recruiter. Nobody will argue that. Nobody will deny that. Large sums of cash can get you lots of talent. It always has. That's how the SEC works. But when he goes up against a team with comparable talent, he falls flat, and he falls flat regularly. Now, he doesn't play a lot of teams of comparable talent, so that helps his numbers. But I'm going to tell you this. I get Gus Malzahn, who's a better coach. And I don't think by a little bit, I think by a lot. I get Bo Nix, who's a better quarterback, because we don't even know who the quarterback's going to be for Auburn. I'll take any of them. The combination of those three in as good as Bo Nix. And I'll take the best wide receiving core in all of college football. And I've got somebody who I believe to be incompetent trying to coach and run a productive program in the middle of chaos in the world of COVID. Kirby is the least qualified coach, in my opinion, taking over a team or coaching a team in the SEC that's not a new inherent coach that I would want coaching during COVID in the offseason. I don't think he pays attention to details. I think he's a hell of a recruiter. I think all he is a salesman. That's it. That's the list.
You might have a point.
And he's gets talent, but he doesn't have so much better talent than Auburn that he can go in and just beat Auburn. This game at Georgia is going to mean nothing because we have seen home field advantage means nothing in these games.
DB jumps in on the chat. He said, I want to bet the Auburn game. And then after we decided to go back and forth, he said, I might lay off now because there's two ways to look at this. Chad Nelson said, taking Auburn in this one, Georgia should have played better even going through the motions.
Yep.
Jim Price
I think there's something wrong with that Georgia offense. I believe Arkansas stymied them. This defense for Auburn is going to stymie them.
Tom Lowe said, sticking with Auburn in this game, they made me money last week. Bleds W said, what about the total? I believe it's at 44.5, 45.
I'd go under if I had to.
I would absolutely go under.
If I had to, I'm staying away from it.
The under in these matchups goes under like 75% of the time.
No. Like I'm going to have Auburn with the points, and I'm going to have Auburn on the money line.
Jim Price said Georgia has not fallen flat against those Auburn Tigers, though.
Okay. That's what they have, because literally the year after they beat the hell out of them, Auburn came back. They went to Auburn the next year, and Auburn beat the hell out of Georgia.
Yeah. 2017 is the only time that Malzahn has beaten Kirby Smart. Every other time, Smart is 5-1 straight up against Gus Malzahn. Just saw Troy in South Alabama was postponed. You see that?
No.
It just happened. Interesting. Chad said, agreed, Auburn D will come to play. Parlay King is going Georgia. So, hey, there's a lot going to be back and forth in this one. I like Georgia.
Well, this game's going to be 50-50.
Oh, it's going to be such a fantastic game. I'm so glad.
I think 7 points is too much.
I'm so glad the SEC is back, man. I love college football so damn much. Golly. All right. Let's move into the interesting games of the week. These are our quick hitters. We like to jump in with the ones that we don't want to do full deep dives on and just kind of give you an idea, right? Let's start off with South Carolina at Florida. This one is currently sitting Florida minus 18. I think you can get them 17.5. Nope, it's pretty much 18 across the board now. These lines are constantly moving. The analytics say that it should be 18.82. Tom Lowe said, not living in the past. Good gracious.
Thank you, Tom.
South Carolina looked okay against Tennessee last week. Had they not thrown a pick six, had they not had the ball bounce off of them on that punt return at the end of the game, all these different things, they were in a prime position to be able to beat Tennessee. How much shorter would this line have been had they actually won that game? And I'd be willing to bet it's at least a touchdown less.
I don't know, a touchdown. It's definitely going to be 3 to 5 less. It's going to be a much shorter line.
I think it would be less than 2 touchdowns.
Yes. There you go. You get it to below 14.
Yeah. Right. M said, let's see, go Gata off the last, I don't know what had just happened. I'm sorry. Chad Nelson, I am liking that plus 18.5 spread for South Carolina more and more. Chad Nelson said Florida gave up a buttload of yards to Ole Miss. That's kind of the issue. This is not the same kind of offense for South Carolina that Ole Miss has.
But this is also not the same defense that he's not throwing 6 touchdowns against this defense.
No.
This is the complete opposite game for Florida.
Yes.
Florida's about to walk into bizarro world from what they played last year, which is not a great offense, but a really good defense.
Yes. It's exactly opposite of last week. So with that, I would lean South Carolina here. The over has been bet up from 55 at opening to 57.5.
I don't like that. I think both these defenses are good.
I think the defenses are going to be okay. Florida's getting some guys back this week. I would lean the under, and I would lean, South Carolina plus 18.
Yeah, just too many points. It's the same reason. If scoring is down, an 18-point line is hard to cover if scoring is down overall.
Yeah. Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator for South Carolina, loves to do as few plays as possible.
That's right.
Like he wants to,
especially against this offense of Florida and what they are and what they've shown to be this year. You don't want them on the field a lot.
Yeah. Now this is not one of my official plays. There's 86% of the wagers coming on South Carolina. That's a lot of numbers. All right, moving on from there, Missouri at Tennessee. Missouri came back last week, had 2 late touchdowns against Alabama to make sure that they stayed within that point spread. And Tennessee, of course, got the win at South Carolina. The analytics say that it should be Tennessee minus 7.7. And Tennessee right now, minus 12.5, minus 11.5. And this line had gone down a little bit. And it opened at 11. It went down to 10.
Yep. And then it bounced
and
back.
Now it's bounced back up. Do people really think that Jarrett Guarantano?
It's not that, man. Nobody believes in Missouri.
I guess not.
I don't believe in Missouri.
I saw a pretty decent Missouri team last week.
No, you didn't.
Like Larry Roundtree can run the football. Sean Robinson wasn't turning the ball over. Looked fairly good. He looked accurate throwing the football. Like, I don't think that Missouri team is as bad as everybody's making them out to be.
Yeah, they are. When they lose by 2 touchdowns in this game, you'll say, "Oh yeah, they were as bad as we thought they were."
Okay. Now, if they come out and make mistakes this week, absolutely, I can 100% see that. But
not a pick of mine, but I like Tennessee.
I can
I'm
understand.
not betting 1 nickel on Missouri until I see something from them.
There you go. AO Quell Nation said taking Tennessee minus 10.5. And cheers to that. Cheers to that. To each their own. Baylor at West Virginia. The Bears going over to Mountain Country. Now, these are 2 guys you like a lot.
I do. I like Neil Brown a lot, and I love Dave Aranda.
Dave Aranda whipped up on your boy last week. It was pretty bad.
We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, Charlie Brewer looked like he has not missed a beat.
Nope. He is a senior leader, and he is going to have fun this year, I think.
Yes. Now, I will say this. West Virginia is not Kansas.
No.
Not in the slightest. No. So,
the number's not nearly as big as a Kansas number. You don't have a big hurdle to get over.
Baylor is basically a 3-point favorite across the board. Opened at 2.5, sits at 3 right now. The total is 53.5. I don't know what to think about this total. Like, I'm staying as far away from this total as humanly possible.
Because I don't know how good Baylor's defense really is.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew Kansas wasn't going to score, but that they could not score on a good defense, and they could not score against a great defense. So I don't know.
West Virginia impressed me a little more last week than I think they did you. They missed out on some scoring opportunities. They had some issues. Chad Nelson said West Virginia could have won me $7,000 if they just scored 1 touchdown. Does Okie State actually have a D this year?
Oh, I'm so frustrated with that game.
I think Oklahoma State does have a defense this year.
I think they do. I don't think they're as good as Baylor. And that's the problem that we're going to run into is if Baylor is better than Oklahoma State, then Baylor's to play here, and it's not close. If you think Oklahoma State is legit and all of a sudden decided we're going to play SEC football and defense and run the ball instead of spreading it out, which Gundy's never done a day in his life, then
it's weird.
I don't know how to judge that team yet.
Bleds W jumped in and said, I'll take Baylor's team total over. I don't know what they're setting it at.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I would imagine with
we'll wait till game time.
53.5 is the total. 3 is so I guess somewhere around 30-ish.
I don't know.
We'll see. We will see. Moving on North Carolina at Boston College. Now, I'm a little wary of this one. North Carolina is a 14-point favorite in this game. At 13.5, I think, at most places, if I am not mistaken. Let's see. Nope, it is 14 across the board now.
I thought it was 14 across the board. I didn't see it 13.
It was crazy early on because it just sat there at 13.5. But I think like Boston College was not great last week against Texas State. But I wonder if a lot of that had to be, hey, this isn't a conference game. Let's just show up and get our W and then go from there. Phil Jerkovich was not impressive last week. Now, he was incredibly impressive against Duke, who by the way, Duke went and turned the football over 7 times against Virginia last week. Unbelievable. So I do like North Carolina a lot. I don't believe that they are 2 touchdowns better than Boston College. The talent doesn't say that. I don't think the coaching necessarily says that.
I don't either. This North Carolina team's been a little bit of a letdown this year, right?
And they haven't exactly played a lot, but
we thought. Maybe Syracuse's defense.
There was a lot of hype.
There was a lot of hype, and they came in and they played a bad Syracuse team, and they struggled with them.
Yeah.
And then like they just haven't beat anybody up the way we kind of thought they would based on the hype. Now they haven't lost anything yet, so they're still live and everything. They haven't looked as good out there doing it the way we thought they would. Not Baylor. Boston College, on the other hand, they looked
pretty good against
good.
Yeah, pretty against Duke for sure. They didn't look great against Texas State, but they were able to come back in that game.
It could have been a look-ahead game.
I've been impressed with Jeff Hafley.
I have too.
I think they're pretty good.
I think it's a lot of points. I don't like it. I'm staying away from it. If I have to play it, I have to take Boston College.
Yeah, I think that's the way
too
that I'm
many
going.
points.
That's one of my official plays.
Okay.
I'm taking Boston College plus the 14. Roy Davis said, "Hey Chris, what type of odds are you giving for the Auburn Georgia game?"
What do you mean? What type of odds am I giving? I'm taking the dog.
Chad Nelson said, "I think North Carolina is legit. It's a second game for North Carolina, though. Watch the BC cover." Yeah, 100%.
That's it.
AOQuell Nation said, "Feels like North Carolina is still riding off the Clemson game last year."
Yeah,
maybe so.
Yeah,
maybe so.
An almost win.
You got that right. Let's jump into Texas Tech at Kansas State. We're moving to the Big 12 here. Now, one of these teams got a massive upset last week, and the other one was about that close to getting that massive upset.
Got almost massive upset.
And really messed up and allowed Texas to come back from 15 down in the last 3 minutes of the game.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
British comedy legend Alan Bowman going on the road here. That name sounds like it, right? Like Alan Bowman. Anyway.
Sure. I like it.
He's the quarterback for Texas Tech. He has been outstanding this year. He was outstanding last year before he got hurt.
Now, this defense isn't Texas defense, though.
No. Kansas State's defense, I think, is actually pretty good. I mean,
I agree with that. I think so, too.
I think this is a crazy kind of game. People love Texas Tech in this spot. Like, it opened at, 2.5, I believe? I've lost the game. I don't know where it went. Yeah, I think it opened at 2.5. It got bet up to like 3, and now it's back down to 1.5. 1.5 at some spots. I see a 3. I see a 2.5. It opened at 3.5. There it is. And the total is 64. That number's kind of insane to me. Kansas State games, I don't expect them to go over very often, but maybe I'm wrong.
Big number.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Big number.
I would lean the under here, and I would lean Kansas State. I think this is a better team, and they are supposed to get a lot of guys back this week. I like Kansas State in this spot. Now, it's not one of my official plays, I don't think. No, it's not. I've got a little money on it from when it dropped all the way down to 1 at one of these books, but yeah, I do like Kansas State in the spot.
My only fear is are they coming off of a big, massive win? Do they have a letdown this week?
I don't think Chris Kleiman allows them to do that.
Oh, you don't? Because Arkansas State came in the week 1, and they had a pretty big letdown then.
Yeah, but that wasn't coming off of a
Well, no, it was just a disappointing game.
Yeah.
So he's not capable of having a disappointing game after a big win?
I'm saying that's entirely possible, but I don't expect a disappointing game just because they had a big win.
I mean, they're still 18, 19-year-old kids reading a lot of clippings about how great they were last week.
Yeah. Either way, I don't know. Bled said I had Texas Tech last week. I like them to put up a bunch of points this week. Parlay PJ said just take the over.
I don't like the over.
Parlay PJ said Texas Tech defense can't stop a soul. That is true, but I also don't think
Kansas State's not going to score a lot. Kansas State's going to run a completely different style of offense. They might score every time they touch the ball, but they're just going to slow the game down, chew up a lot of clock, and then you've run out of real estate.
Mac Pizzle says FPI win percentage 72% Kansas State. I mean, they are at home. The Texas Tech-Texas game last week, neither team got to 500 yards. That was
all of those points.
It was mess ups.
Yes.
I don't see that.
I think the play would be Kansas State just because I don't trust this Texas Tech team at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, would it shock me if Kansas State? The reason I'm staying away from it is because I have seen too many college kids have a good week and have a great week.
Yeah.
After a good Saturday, and then the following Saturday, forget what they're doing.
Tom Lowe jumps in and says, "Do you have faith in Skylar Thompson?" I mean, yeah, I do, but at the same time, do we have a whole lot of faith in anything that Texas Tech is doing?
They're 18, 19-year-old kids.
These are very similar teams in my estimation. I'm not betting on this one.
Yeah,
I take that back. I have put a fraction of a unit on it, but it's not one of my favorite plays. I like Kansas State in this spot, so that's the way I'm leaning. But it's not one of my biggest plays. Next up, Ole Miss at Kentucky. And Ole Miss looked all right last week.
Offensively.
And Kentucky really kind of outplayed Auburn last week.
I don't think they did.
I mean, they gave up 3 turnovers.
But that's not outplaying somebody. It's making mistakes and playing sloppy.
They had more yards per game. They absolutely played sloppy. But they played well against Auburn.
Okay. Until they didn't.
It wasn't good enough to beat Auburn.
Yeah.
I think it could be good enough to beat Ole Miss.
Well, yes. Okay. I think they're gonna beat Ole Miss.
So with that said, they're favored by 6.5, pretty much across the board. Total started at 56.5 and has been bet up to 61.5 across the board. Thoughts?
I think I would play the over. I like Ole Miss. This is one of my gambling picks. I like Ole Miss plus the 6.5. I think Kentucky can win this game. They're the favorite. They should win this game. But I think this is a one-score game. I think the Lane Train has an offense that is real, and that's going to keep them in a lot of games.
Yeah.
This is not Florida, Kyle Trask coming in here throwing for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's not going to happen with Kentucky. It's just not. For Kentucky to win, they are going to play ball control. They are going to grind this thing out. They're not going to score fast.
Yeah.
But that just means it's going to be lower scoring than maybe the over is not the play. But I don't know that they can stop this Ole Miss offense. I think this Ole Miss offense is really good. I loved the play calls. I like the way they schemed up. They were running draw plays and run plays that were misdirection. I lost the ball
numerous times.
More times than I have been watching football for a long time. I no longer lose the football in a play action or something. I lost the ball a lot in that Florida game watching Ole Miss's offense.
It was insane.
It just the misdirection was crazy, and Florida couldn't figure it out. I like Mark Stoops. I think he's a really good coach. I think this defense is good. I don't know that this defense is better than Florida, though.
Oh, I'm with you.
I think Ole Miss can score. I like Kentucky to win, but Ole Miss is a live dog here. They're absolutely a live dog, and I think one-score game. You give me 6.5 points to start the game off. I'm taking the 6.5. I'm taking the Lane Train.
I like your thinking. So we'll see what Scary Terry Wilson does this week. Moving on from there, we got to hit these really quick. Tulsa at UCF. This kind of a revenge spot, I guess. Tulsa got that win last year by 3 points over UCF. They're favored by, 21.5 now? Or 21?
21 even.
21 even. The analytics say it should be 19.65. am not sure what to make of this Central Florida team. I do think they are incredibly talented. I do think that they are a really good team.
What don't you like about? What don't you know what to make? We watched them play 2 games, and in both games they dominated both games from start to finish.
They destroyed 2 really bad teams.
Well, that one bad team we all thought was pretty good.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
But we saw that Georgia Tech team go and get demolished by another bad team.
I get
Syracuse.
it, but
but
hang on. Do you think Tulsa is not in the same realm of Georgia Tech and Jesus, who they play last week?
East Carolina.
East Carolina. I mean, it ain't like Tulsa's, Alabama.
I'm curious about Tulsa's defense. I want to know about can Tulsa slow these guys down?
The answer is no.
They slowed down Oklahoma State.
So did West Virginia.
But do you think that's bad of Neil Brown? I think that's what we would expect from a Neil Brown team.
No.
Maybe I'm crazy.
No. The athletic ability for Central Florida is just off the charts compared to Tulsa.
Yeah, I mean, maybe so. Parlay PJ jumps in and said Tulsa plus 21.5. They are good. Should have beat Oklahoma State. Parlay King said UCF blowout. Chad Nelson says Tulsa plus 21.5.
This is a gambling pick of mine. UCF is blowing this team out.
Yeah. Okay. And then finally, last one, Oklahoma at Iowa State. This is going to be an interesting ball game. Both of these teams already have a loss. This is a weird spot. Lincoln Riley got by Matt Campbell 2 years ago, and I guess maybe that was 3 years ago. The last 2 years, it's been really, really close, less than a touchdown.
That's right. Last year, he almost got by him.
Yeah, 42-41 last year. So
I remember that.
The analytics say that it should be minus 8.93 in favor of Oklahoma. This is one of my gambling picks.
Okay.
I like Oklahoma in this spot, minus 7. That Iowa State defense is not good.
Nope. I agree with
just
that.
not.
I don't think they're good either. I agree with that.
And I don't know that Oklahoma is going to be as rattled as they were last week. Now, maybe we'll see it, but Oklahoma's offensive line isn't great, but I don't think you have to be against this Iowa State team.
No, Iowa State's not going to give them any troubles scoring. It's can they stop Iowa State from scoring?
Yeah.
Because they couldn't stop Kansas State from scoring, and we know Matt Campbell's going to have this Iowa State team, far more prepared offensively than Kansas State.
Now, if they turn the football over a whole lot like they did last week, 100% Oklahoma will lose this game.
Yep.
Because they gave Kansas State prime field position.
Yeah.
And then they just let them run wild in the secondary. It was bananas. But I like Oklahoma minus 6.5. You can find it at 6.5 at a couple spots.
I think that's the play. I'm staying away from it, but I think that's the play. I think Oklahoma bounces back. I said it before the season started. I didn't think this Iowa State team was that great. And I'm kind of staying by that. I like Matt Campbell a whole lot, but at some point in time, it just don't work out for you all the time. And this is going to be one of those seasons where I think they were lucky to get the win yesterday that they got. If TCU makes the quarterback change a few minutes earlier, they might have gotten beat. We get a different outcome.
Riot M said, I don't trust the redshirt freshman. Travis Williams said Oklahoma bounced back by 10. Jason Dixon said no defense in the Big 12, though. Willie Kane, Boomer Sooner on a mission. Oklahoma minus 6.5 for sure from Chad Nelson. Parlay King said Iowa State all day. Rattler is a turnover machine. Yeah, he certainly was.
No, I mean, that's why I'm staying away from is I need to see Oklahoma be tested a little more because they played a high school team first game, and then they got beat by Kansas State.
Yeah,
and I need to actually see them continue to play a few more games to see how Rattler.
This line opened Oklahoma minus 10.5.
Yeah, and it's been bet down,
and it got bet way down. I got it at 6.5 at late Sunday, and it's back up to 7. I mean, it's 7 across the board.
It's strange that 96% of the bets are on Oklahoma, and the line has fluctuated that much.
So when I got it at 6.5, it was flipped the other way. It was like 90% of the action on Iowa
but that was
State.
Sunday right after the thing happened.
And now it's switched back.
But you don't have a lot of tickets by Sunday.
Yeah, it's
today you've got a lot more tickets than you had Sunday.
That's
when
true.
The line opened up. That's the problem.
Scott jumps in. Need one lock for Saturday. Anyone? Hey, you know what? That actually is a really good question because it is now time for our official picks. We're already 45 minutes into this thing. Why don't we go ahead and give our picks out fairly quickly? we don't have to give too much of a reason here. Obviously, we're both going to have our articles over at sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. So make sure that you go over there, along with subscribing to the channel, liking the video, sharing it out, all that good stuff. Here are our locks, our official picks, whatever you want to call it. Mine, I've got Georgia -6.5 over Auburn. I've got Oklahoma -7 over Iowa State. Oklahoma 7-2-1 in their last 10 as a touchdown or less favorite in the Big 12. TCU +13 at Texas. Love Gary Patterson there. Air Force +7 at home against Navy. I've got Boston College +14 at home against North Carolina. And I am taking Oklahoma and Iowa State over the 61.5. Chris?
I got TCU +13 against Texas. I've got South Carolina +18 at Florida. I've got UCF -21 at home against Tulsa. I've got Auburn +7 at Georgia. I've got Mississippi State -17.5 at Arkansas. I've got Ole Miss +6.5 at Kentucky. I've got Baylor -3 at West Virginia, and I have Air Force +7 at Navy.
I like it. So with that said,
we're getting out of a hole.
We're getting out of the hole. And do you have parlays?
No.
I've got a parlay.
I went 1-3.
Hey, I hit my money line parlay last week. That was good.
Play that
my
stuff.
round robin did not
I ain't
work.
playing money line parlays.
I
don't bet chalk.
I've got a money line parlay and I got a 7-point teaser for you guys. All right. We'll close the show on that. So let's go ahead and discuss the money line parlay. This one is the SEC Freaky 5-Way money line parlay. Take Florida to win, take Tennessee to win, take Alabama, take Georgia, and take LSU. You take all 5 of those. That is +132 odds. So you bet $100, you're going to win back 132. Not too bad. You got plus odds on that. That's not bad, right?
Auburn's going to ruin both of these.
In my 7-point teaser, Missouri +19.5, Air Force +14, South Carolina +25, and I'm taking Georgia at a pick'em. I think Georgia will win the football game.
Auburn's
Absolutely
going to ruin both of them.
So that by the way, plus odds, that's +200. So you bet $10, you win back 20. You bet $100, you win back 200. Like, I feel good about them this week. We shall see. Lux Boss said take Georgia out and put Baylor in. Hey, if you guys want to do that, that's up to you. I feel good about Georgia. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Tom Lowe said, love the show. Hey,
thank you, Tom.
We love you guys.
Thank everybody.
We appreciate everybody that jumped in the chat today. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. We have a fantastic crew that's working on the back end of this. They always treat us well. They make us look a whole lot prettier than we actually are because, good gracious, if you saw us in person, it'd be a disaster. We appreciate all of you that came into the chat, that watch this every week. Share the show out for us. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing this all the time. Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time, we will be back on here discussing the closing lines, and it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. Is there anything else we need to hit?
That's it, brother. Let's get out of here.
That is it. Head over to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF for sportsbookreview.com. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And we will see you all next time.